soon as people get bored, they want to start problems. They want to cheat. They want to experience something exciting. No, be okay with boring. You'll get over it. Say I love you every day, multiple times a day. Never joke about divorce, big one. Never threaten the relationship. And then create rituals. Friday walks, movie nights, Saturday sushi. I'm single as fuck, but this gives me hope. I caught one of my employees working from the beach today, so in order to teach him a lesson, I sent him $20 and told him to grab lunch on me. Why? Because he gets his shit done. He's dependable and he shows up when I need him to. So I don't give a shit if he's working from his backyard or from Bali. I mean, look at me. I'm still in my robe. I'm eating leftover teriyaki chicken and I'm getting all my shit done. Not to mention, it is Thursday, which means it's basically Friday, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there's a certain level of professionalism you need to maintain, especially if you're client facing, but that's the beauty in remote work. That is honestly the biggest quality of life difference that I've had, because I've worked 5 days in person and I've worked fully remote for the last 3 or 4 years, and getting rid of a 2-hour commute out of my day every day, that's 10 hours a week. That's 500 hours a year that I have back in my life. That makes me happier. It makes me more efficient. And don't get me wrong, there are people that are not great with managing their own time or themselves. And if you need a bit more structure, by all means, find a job that allows you to thrive in person. But if you are a person that is able to manage your time and your tasks and get shit done when needed, you should be able to reap the rewards of having a flexible schedule and getting your shit done from wherever you want to. You know what I mean? If you want to take a quick little lunch break, if you want to go take a workout in the middle of the day, if your schedule allows you to, go do it. Bye. One thing I refuse to do in my 20s is be financially irresponsible. That's exactly why I have a 6-figure emergency fund, and most people think I'm crazy for that, but it's really not that crazy. So let's break it down. An emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses. Everyone has a set amount of expenses every month, and an emergency fund is there in case something goes wrong. You lose your job, you lose your source of income, or something terrible happens to you. But because you have 3 to 6 months of your fixed expenses already saved in an account, you can then continue to live your life as is for a couple months while you figure out a way to get back on your feet. And for me, I have cash, about $45,000 on me, because that is what my fixed expenses are for a single year, right? So my car payment and my insurance and some bills, that's about $770 a month. So you times that by 12, that's $9,300. I give myself about $400 buffer for monthly expenses, for food and going out and just like whatever, my subscriptions. So that's another roughly $4,000. Then I have my rent, which is my biggest expense, $30,000 per year, because my rent is $2,500 a month roughly. And I also paid off my car like last week, so that doesn't matter anymore, but still. So that's $45,000 in cash that I have on me in a high yield savings account, just in case if anything goes wrong. I could literally afford to not work for a year. But on top of that, I have another 2 years of additional income of emergency funds, 6 figures, about $132,000. However, that one isn't set aside in cash in a high yield savings account. Those are just in various assets that are highly liquid. So I could have that available to me in cash within a couple days. If you don't have any sort of savings or an emergency fund, start by saving $1,000 and act like you don't even have it. That is there only for rainy days. And if you already have that, you need to figure out how much money you spend every single month and then save about 3 to 6 months of that over some time. I promise you, your future you will thank you. It's a great peace of mind to have.
There are levels to like the perfect video, not hook, value, transition, story, value. Like, sure, those frameworks can work. I'm a firm believer that like that's kind of like bottom of the barrel content advice. Like anything can work if you have the idea and the concept right. And I'm going to show you right here how to make the perfect video, in my opinion. I've worked with creators who have done millions of dollars, $800,000 in a few days. I helped a creator go from $50,000 a month to $300,000 a month. I work with a creator that does that overseas, $70 million. They all have one thing in common. Once we truly get down to it, once I come in and I help them, we figure out their perfect video. And there's 3 principles to it. I'm going to show you guys this. It's going to be backwards, I think. I don't really care. You'll have to figure it out. My handwriting sucks. And in the intersection of these 3 concepts is the perfect video. And I'm going to go through each one. So over here, we have a balanced TAM. We have a unique and valuable angle. And what did I say there? it's somehow connected to money. And I'm going to end with that because it's really complicated. Not like, you don't have to talk about finances or talk about getting rich. There's layers to this, but I'm going to end with that one. Okay, let's talk about balanced TAM. This is the biggest mistake so many creators make. You want, Caleb Ralston calls it an accordion method. He talks about it in a different concept. But the idea of your TAM is your total addressable market. So theoretically, if my hook says, hey ladies, my total addressable market is women. If I say, hey boys, my total addressable market is men. If I say, if you're a lady that's 25 years old and you love CrossFit, you need to watch this video. Okay, there's my TAM. My TAM is 25-year-old women who love CrossFit and anything kind of adjacent to that. You have a TAM in your hook. Whether you agree, whether you see it or not, there is a total addressable market. There's people who it just doesn't apply to. And what you want to do is you want to use an accordion method that balances. You can compress and get a really hyper specific target audience, total addressable audience, very hyper specific. But then you want to package it with a larger, wider net. Okay? Now let me give you an example here because that's kind of complicated. This concept is called CCN. It's by Patty Galloway. He talks about it on YouTube, but it works just as much here. You want to be able to reach your core audience, your casual audience, and a new audience. The problem is people will try to reach a new audience and then they sacrifice their core audience, or they try to only reach their core audience and then they sacrifice reaching a new audience. And there's a way to do both. I was on a call talking to a guy who's in the aviation space. He's a pilot. He owns 3 businesses over different locations, and he literally can travel from 3 different states in one day and touch on all these different businesses without worrying about like location constraints. So we're thinking about video ideas, and like he could easily say like navigating the schedule of how to build a schedule of a pilot so that you can run 3 businesses in one day from 3 different states. It's like decent, but that's really specific for business owners and pilots, right? Now, okay, let's bring it out just a little bit. What if we say how I went to 3 different states in one day? Okay, that's great, but now we're kind of missing, maybe the niche of like pilots and stuff like that. I don't know. You kind of see like there's balance here. And so what we went with is how I played 22 golf courses in 22 days